well, you guys are familiar. I'm from Circle 6 Magazine, circle6magazine.com. It's an online mag for men, 22 to 40. Big fans of the band. I've been a fan of you guys since Starseed. Usually I send my editors down to do the interview. I'm the editor-in-chief. I pulled rank on this one. And I'm really looking forward to the show tonight.
Cool.
I saw you at the Glass House, 1997.
Yeah.
For the Clumsy Tour.
Pomona.
Yes. And it was a hell of a show. Black Lab opened, I think.
Yeah, we played there since then, too, actually.
Have you?
Yeah. Black Lab went and ran into the corner.
You got with the stink bomb?
That's them. I made him almost break up on that tour. I was messing with them on all fronts. It was absolute degradation.
You broke them in the hard way?
Oh, well, no. They were all fighting all the time, so I was just kind of making them fight even more, I guess. Fisticuffs.
Springfield, Missouri. Didn't you have them chasing each other around the theater? Around the soundboard? The guitar player was...
I put a stink bomb under the bass pedal so I didn't have to detonate it. And he stepped, they're playing, all of a sudden they're starting like, fucking six, man, what is that? Oh, man, they're fighting, and then all of a sudden one of the guys like, fucking stink bomb, man. And then one of them says, Taggart, where the hell is he at? And then they didn't see me, and then all of a sudden one guy's like, it was you, and then they just started arguing about something else. That someone called someone an asshole, and they got mad about that, and then all of a sudden they're chasing each other around the whole place. I'm just watching through this little crack in the balcony.
Don't worry, Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Next Sunday.
How intimidating is that?
We've done two of them already, yeah.
Oh, you played with them earlier?
We haven't met them yet.
Really?
And we got some family members who want to come to the shows. They're charging us $200 to anything. They don't even have a guest.
Yeah, we had a 30-person guest list.
But you have to pop.
But we just found out that the 30-person guest list is they reserve you 30 tickets that you can buy at $200 Canadian dollars.
Put this.
55 US.
One show we're doing two. The second one is 75,000 people are going to be at the show. That's what, $15 million or something like that. We just want, maybe 10 tickets for some friends. I'm sorry, lads. It's not going to happen on this tour.
Were they at least good seats?
They're in the middle. Can't even see Mick.
Yeah. At least cool. The coolest thing about playing with the Stones in the past was that, well, the fact because we didn't meet them, so that wasn't so cool. But the coolest thing was that the guitar tech let us come up and look at Keith's Tweed amps. The old school. I forget what year it is. Fender Tweed amps. The first year it was made, and the serial number 2 and the serial number 3.
Who's got one? The guy that made it?
Clapton, maybe.
Some museum. I don't know.
They were an amazing band. One of the best of all time. I mean, I love a lot of their records. So it's always great to be in a kind of company of that. But it's a bummer when they make you pay to get in. To play.
I guess with those guys, you're the Black Lab for them, maybe.
Yeah, they're gonna make us fight.
We're not even
break up. We're going to pay you a fair salary, but you're not getting any tickets.
Healthy and Paranoid Times. You had some troubles recording that. Recording your bio.
Couple little fights.
Yeah. It's the first time that we have afforded ourselves perspective on anything that we've done. Usually we go in and record, and then you have management and record company busting down your door to put it out immediately. And this time we would get together for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and write, and then go record for a month, 2 months, and then take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3.5, 4 months off, and then we just did it in blocks like that. And each time we took some more time off, listen back, and get away from the music and get real perspective on it. And it was really selfish on our part, and it was really great to be in a position to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And along the way, there were a lot of disagreements, and there were a lot of fights, and precarious times, not knowing if there was going to be a band, or not knowing if there was going to be a producer, whether he was fired or whether he quit, or all of that kind of stuff. So when we made Gravity, it was like, it was a new relationship with Bob, and everyone was really excited. We just did it.
Right.
And this time we just sort of got into it a lot deeper and learned a lot more about each other. And I think the music shows it.
It was a great experience.
Awesome.
You know, it was very long, and it was tumultuous, and couldn't have been any worse in terms of adversity at certain points. But at the end of it, what this album is resolution of all that, all the strife and problems. You know, that record is this record is definitely relieving, and it's very therapeutic for us to listen to after what we went through.
Right. It seems like there's a connection. You two with Octung Baby went through a lot of troubles during that and almost broke up several times.
Yeah.
Do you see this as sort of a new evolution for your guys' career in the same way that was for them?
Yeah, well, in terms of a band having their problems, yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line is for us, when we knew from the beginning there were certain songs that were really good and exactly what we wanted, and that kind of carried us through all the problems. You know, the problem wasn't necessarily we didn't like what we had. It was more we like what we had, but how long is it going to take before we have a whole album that we really love, like these songs? And we would do it like one by one. It seemed after about 6 or 7, it was just very, like, you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, so you'd start freaking out, like, is this going to happen, or is this it? And by the end of the day, we would, our cooler heads would prevail, and we would always get through it.
Right. And if you're talking about it as a rebirth in comparison to how Active Baby was a rebirth,
Right.
then yeah, I would say it's similar for us.
Nobody's dressing up like chicks, though, for the video. I'll tell you that much.
That ain't going to happen, right?
And I'm not going to be naked on the cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's the Adam in the band?
We don't need to see the berries.
Yeah.
The bass player berries.
Rain said that you wanted to bring as much artistry as possible back into your music. Where along the way did you feel like you lost that?
I don't know if we ever consciously thought that we lost the artistry. I think that there are often times that outside influences try to push you in certain ways. And we just had to get back to the basics. To me, this record, even though it's weird coming from me, because I joined the band right after Naveed, but I knew the guys and I was aware of what they went through making Naveed. To me, it sort of mirrors that, because there was a naivety and a carelessness about the way we went about making that record and this record. And it was in the sense that you don't have pressures, you don't have timelines. And then I think when you sort of clear yourself from all of that, then you can bring artistry into the music, and you can just let it be pure. It doesn't get tainted with anything.
Yeah, I think it was the bottom line for us, looking back on all that stuff. I mean, we don't criticize our past. It's just we didn't know 100% of what we were doing, and I think you can't expect that, so you can't look down upon it. So we just know more now, and we're 100% confident when we make decisions. And that's all based just on the musical front, from writing songs together and finding out dynamics and who works together well, and if we can get through problems and we can write songs in a room just with nothing. Nobody has to go out and do a song by themselves and come back. This whole record was a complete change in our format.
It's very collaborative.
Yeah, but it was for the right reasons. It wasn't like it has to be democratic just because of this. It was like, let's get these songs however they come, but we all seem to really want it enough, as individuals together.
Well, it seems like it's even sonic-wise, it's a more sonically mature album than Gravity. Is part of that Steve coming into his own with this one?
It's part of that. It's part of Steve for sure. I mean, it's part of having Joel play on the record, a guest guitar player who's great. I mean, it's a part of us maturing as musicians and then taking out all the slickness of sound and production, just getting a really live, off the floor kind of feel. Those are the things the breaking down and the building up stuff that we did for this record to to make it sound really authentic, that it would sound almost like it does live.
Well, it definitely does. When listening to it, I don't know if you're familiar with Dishwalla's third release, Opaline. Amazing record for a band where they just kind of came together, a very organic feel. And listening to Healthy and Paranoid Times, that's the feeling I got. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites. Clumsy's my favorite, because that's the one kind of I was introduced to the band on, and I love them all, but this one is just, there's a passion there and an urgency that I hear a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just had I don't know, some mantra or just a rule. It was, you know, let's write as many songs as we can, and the ones that make the hairs in the back of your neck stand up, then those are the ones that make it.
Yeah.
And until they all do that, then keep working.
Said record all the spooks.
Record all the spooks.
Bob Rock. Some criticized you for using them on Gravity, making the change like that.
Yeah, people are going to criticize anything. You know, people are going to criticize any change that you make, because, you know, people think that because they're in love with the band, then they can make decisions for a band for some reason. But I mean, I think our fans, they realize, and I hope to God they realize, that we're one of those bands that's going to happen, where we're going to make decisions that are going to be a 180 on the last record, and we kind of hope they'll stick around. But you know, the whole point is for us to make music together and not care about that kind of stuff.
And we needed to grow as a band, and in order to grow as a band, we needed to work with someone different than Arnold, the producer of our first four records.
Right.
And that wasn't I guess in a way it was a selfish thing, but it's just a natural course of life.
Hey, that's the way it is.
You're allowed to make those decisions being the band, so.
Yeah. You should. You got to collaborate in life to make it work. You have to feel rejuvenated at certain points. I mean, it's not like we're going to go, well, you know what, we need a new bass and drum on the new record, or we need new voice. Like, those things aren't going to happen. You can't do that, but you can have a different perspective, like another producer, or someone, or a different engineer, depending on what you're going for. That's what music's supposed to be.
War Child has obviously had an impact on this record. How do you make the transition? And did you guys go to Sudan with Rain?
No, Rain went to Darfur, and he also went to Iraq a couple years previous to that. But he's very dedicated in War Child, and